Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to City Hall for tonight's City Council meeting and immediately thereafter the Committee of the Whole meeting. I was going to repeat that on honor of Groundhog Day, but I thought that'd be a stupid joke. So we're delighted you're all here tonight, and for those of you tuning in, I call the meeting to order and I kindly ask our city clerk to please take the roll call.
Bowering?
Here.
Furnish? Kilberg?
Here.
Kasserag?
Here.
Maliki?
Here.
Marks?
Here.
Mayor?
Here.
Palmquist?
Here.
Paschke?
Here.
Reinecke?
Here.
We begin our council meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance, and it's my high honor to ask Firefighter Haynes to please lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Our first order of business tonight, an important one indeed, is to proclaim February 2026 as Black History Month in the city of Geneva. Is there a motion? Motion by Paschke, seconded by Bowering. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you all. And I would like to take a moment to extend my appreciation and all of our appreciations to the library district who are having extraordinary programming throughout this month. So Christine, where did you go? There, thank you very much. Thank you. Our second item of business is to introduce and reintroduce Joshua Haynes, firefighter paramedic, for his badge ceremony presentation. Firefighter Haynes, welcome. As all of you know, certainly those in the chamber, I always get this cheat sheet. But what you don't know is that we swore Joshua in about a year ago, not even a year ago. Okay, and I asked you to come to the podium because I wanted to make sure the last line was correct.
Yes,
And that last line is, yes, you were born in 2003.
that's correct.
Oh my God. Do you remember your first Wiggles concert?
No, I do not.
You do? Okay,
That's
good.
too young.
Joshua, do you want to introduce some of the guests you have with you tonight?
Of course, of course. So I have my dad, Jeff, here. I have my girlfriend, Emma. I have my mom, Cheryl. And I have my uncle, Bob, at the end there.
Bob at the end.
Yep.
Firefighter Haynes grew up in, is it Batavia?
I think that's right.
Is it right?
Yeah.
Oh, Batavia, sorry about that. Graduated from beautiful West Aurora. You're a Blackhawk.
That's correct.
Good Lord. You have it down here, so I'm going to read it. Is that okay?
That's good.
In
Fine with me.
2021,
Yep.
excuse me. Currently living in Aurora, hired by the Montgomery and Countryside Fire Protection District in 2022 as a volunteer firefighter. Began my experience at the Geneva Fire Department as a medic student in June of 23, doing my paramedic ride time on Medic 251.
That's correct.
Which we've all seen, of course, throughout our communities. After obtaining my paramedic license in 2023, I started working for the Geneva Fire Department as a contract paramedic firefighter for Tri-City Ambulance for approximately 8 months.
That's correct.
And you and I and the family and others had the opportunity to administer the oath of office to you about a year ago. And what I didn't know, and some of you may or may not know, the badge ceremony always takes place a year after the oath of office. And I found out the answer to why there are no badge numbers on a firefighter's badge until 5 years. And you know why that is?
I do not know.
Nor do we. So that's the chief had a good explanation for it. Years ago, there were badge numbers. They all got messed up, so they started over again, et cetera, et cetera. So tonight, Joshua, what do we need to know about you that I don't know, but perhaps the rest of the community does?
Boy. Well, I'm 22 years old.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. What questions do you have? Any
how
interesting
dare you.
questions? What's
Well,
up?
I have a question for you. What do you do for fun, man?
Oh, I like-
You've got a 24-hour or 24-hour shift. You're off 48. What do you do to unwind?
Like to work out?
You do.
Yes. Yeah.
And-
Weightlifting.
Where do you work out?
I work out at home and I work out at the Vaughn Center in Aurora.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful place, isn't it?
Very nice.
Awesome,
Yes.
man. So when you work out, it's weights and all that stuff.
Yes. Yep.
Running.
A little bit of running. Here
Mostly
and there.
weights.
Mostly weights. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
What else? Are you a big reader?
I do like to read. Yes.
Yeah, what's your style? Fiction, nonfiction?
Nonfiction. I like to read
Nonfiction.
a lot of history. So.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Really? What's your most recent book?
48 Laws of Power was my most recent book.
I was going to say, don't say the Dukakis campaign or something. For the younger people in the audience, I can explain that later. Right, Mark? And what else, man? You got a heck of a job, so it's.
Yeah.
And Emma, I know, supports you completely. So it's been a tough shift. What do you do to recompose?
Come hang out with the girlfriend, go out, go to the mall, that kind of stuff. Read a little bit, work out. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Just went on vacation as well. That was really nice.
Oh yeah, where'd you go?
Yeah, we went to Curacao, me and the girlfriend. So hung out with.
Me and the girlfriend.
Yeah, me and Emma.
She's right here, Joshua. She's right.
Me and Emma. Yep.
You and Emma. And
Yep.
where is Curacao?
It's right off the coast of Venezuela. So. Yeah, I know, right?
So how do you fly there? What route do
plane.
you... Did you hear that, Chief? I said, how do you fly there? He said, in a plane. It's like, yeah.
Yes.
What is the route, though? Is it?
From here to Miami and then from Miami down there.
Okay, that's it. That's pretty simple.
And so my aunt lives down there, and that's.
Oh, no
why I go
kidding.
visit. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Mom's sister or dad's?
My dad's sister.
Oh, that's cool. Wow. And you were there for a week or so?
Yep.
Just
Yeah,
doing nothing.
doing nothing on the beach, scuba diving.
Okay, that's
85
enough.
degree weather.
We don't need to know details. That's
I
good.
know. I miss it.
Do you tan naturally or a lot of SPF?
A lot of SPF.
A
Yeah.
lot of SPF? And when you were there vacation, were you thinking about tonight? How exciting it's going to be?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's for
Yeah?
sure.
Now, some of your colleagues on the fire department were teasing me earlier, saying that they're surprised that you remembered to be here tonight.
Yeah.
Why do you think they'd say that?
I have no idea.
Do you have a reputation at the fire barn?
A little bit.
Do you have a nickname?
I do.
Are you able to share it?
Probably
Okay.
wouldn't be a good idea in front of city.
Probably not a good idea? Okay,
Yeah.
it's good to have a nice positive culture at the fire barn. That's good. What else, Joshua?
Dizzy.
Dizzy?
Dizzy. Yep. B squared.
D squared.
B squared.
B squared.
Yes.
Oh, busy.
Dizzy. Dizzy.
How can dizzy be B squared?
I have two nicknames.
Oh, you do? What's the other one?
B squared was one, and then Dizzy is the other one. So
Any idea what B squared means?
I know exactly what it means.
What? Yes, this is a family show, so we're not going to ask that. If you wish to delete the record, blink twice. There you go. Good job. This is an important passage. It's an important ceremony. I know that you have chosen Mom to pin the badge. Mom said earlier you're going to just stick her in there. Would you object to coming forward, invite your mom, anyone else you would like to join you? And any objection, firefighter, if we take some pictures?
No?
Okay. And we'll get out of your way, because you don't want the background with us in there.
That's for sure.
Okay, hold on, Mom. We got lots of cameras here. We're going to set you up
You can go get it.
anytime you'd like. You want to confirm that's your son? Isn't that sweet? Big round of applause.
some, Chief?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So what's on the agenda the rest of the night, Firefighter Haynes? Where are you going? Yeah, gee, I'm not familiar with Firefox, but now I know what, yeah. At least he didn't say Buffalo Wild Wings, like B squared, so that's good. Well, thank you again. Thank you for your service. We appreciate it. Mom and Dad, thank you. Emma, the girlfriend, thank you. Uncle Bob, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Be safe. Enjoy dinner.
Thank you.
Okay. See you guys. Born in 2003. It is. Our next item of business is to welcome to the podium the director of the Geneva Library District, Christine. Christine is going to walk us through this year's One Book, One Community program. Director Lazarus, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor Burns and members of the City Council for welcoming me here this evening. As Mayor Burns said, my name is Christine Lazarus, and I'm the director of the Geneva Public Library. Tonight, I'm here to announce what this year's One Book, One Community selection is. It is The Correspondent by Virginia Evans, which is on all of your desks tonight. And we would like to invite all of you to take part in this fifth annual One Book, One Community program as an open invitation to you and all Geneva residents to participate in this shared discussion. So 5 years ago, when we began this program, our goal was simple. We just wanted to bring our community together to read the same book and to start a conversation together. If you think about where we were in 2021, you might understand why we thought it was important to bring people together. And now 5 years later, I would say with the world as divisive as it is, I think it's just as important that we bring people together in a shared dialogue with many voices responding to the same story. So we hope that you enjoy this year's selection. It's a novel about human connection told through letters, messages sent across time and distance that remind us how powerful words can be. At its heart, the book explores relationships, empathy, and what it means to truly hear one another, which are values that reflect Geneva at its best. We're kicking things off this Saturday. You, of course, have the sneak peek tonight, but this Saturday we'll begin giving away books. And thanks to the generosity of Friends of Geneva Library, we'll be giving away more than 750 copies on a first-come, first-served basis. We'll also have copies available for digital checkout as well, if that's your preferred format. And Mayor Burns, of course, you have your large print.
Yes,
So
thank you for the large print. That's very helpful. I appreciate that. It's actually mine's
we aim to
900
be
pages.
inclusive and welcoming in all formats. So.
It's very impressive. Check it out.
So on Saturday, visitors will be invited also to take part in a creative response of their own. We have a community art show that kicks off and goes throughout the amount of time of this event through the end of April. And as part of that community art show is a tiny art show where you can get your own little tiny canvas and bring that home or do it in the library and paint or whatever your medium is that you choose, and then it'll be displayed as part of the show. This year's gallery show is called Dear Geneva, and it will include the work of 50 local artists, from elementary age students to professional artists. And we will host an artist reception on March 19th at 6 p.m. And of course, the public and all of you are welcome to attend, and we hope you will attend. On April 11th, we host our Volunteer and Community Connection event. It's from 10 to 2, and it highlights the work of local nonprofit organizations here in town and opportunities for people to get involved. We also host a blood drive that day as well. And then on April 15th, one of our signature events for this series is our community-wide book discussion. I know some of you have participated in this in the past. Can we get a commitment? Can we get everybody there this year? Do I get some nods?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. All right. So April 15th, mark your calendars, 4:30. If you're worried about the questions, Mayor Burns, they're in the guide.
Are they in the
So,
guide? This is
yeah.
the guide that features Amy Mayer? Oh, it's a different guide, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, the mailer, sorry.
Oh, are you in our mail? Nice.
Nice.
So we know who came to the events.
Absolutely.
And thank you. But we do hope that you'll come, and we'll be reflecting on the themes in the book and really just what it means to be part of our community. And then the final event is on Sunday, April 19th, when author Virginia Evans will join us in person for our closing celebration, and that is made possible by our Library Foundation. She will share insights about her writing process and sign books afterwards. So we do hope you will attend many of our events. We have an outline of some of them on the back of this guide. And even if you can't engage in the community discussion, use the questions, read the book, share it with your friends and neighbors, and have your own discussion, because that's what it's about, and what does this mean to Geneva? So this is our letter to you. Dear Geneva, please join us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guarantee we will.
Thank you.
Any questions for the director?
Well, thank you so much.
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry.
Alderperson Paschke.
I don't have a question, but I got to cheat, and I already read the book over the holidays. It's great. It's a
It is
really
a
good
great
read.
book. It is. So,
And
thank
how did
you.
that happen?
I serve on the Library Foundation.
Oh, I see. And I know historically, there's always a question is, how did you choose this book? How did you choose this particular book?
Well, there is a committee that does this, and I will say I am just one of the final readers of it. And, we look for themes of community. We look for something that will be unifying, that will bring people together. And then there are some general parameters that we have to work with. Is it in print? Can we get the author to come? Can we afford to get the author to come? All of those things.
Yeah.
So there's the logistics of that. But generally speaking, the goal is to unify,
Sure.
to find something where we can all find a common theme and a common thread that can bond us. So
Wonderful.
we hope you'll see that in this year's selection.
I'm certain we will. Anyone else? Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Good to see you.
It's just an honor to be here, so thank you.
Thank you. Up next, our good friends from PACE regarding the PACE Bus Van Gogh program. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, Mayor Burns and members of the City Council. My name is Stephen Andrews. I'm PACE's Manager of Community Relations, and I'm happy to be here to talk about PACE's Van Gogh program. And first, I want to thank you for your consideration of the PACE Van Gogh agreement on the agenda tonight, which, if approved, will enable PACE to move forward with our next Van Gogh program, the Geneva Van Gogh. So I'm going to provide just a little background on what Van Gogh is, the service, and what we have planned in the area. So if you're not familiar with Van Gogh, this is a program that was really born out of PACE's traditional van pool program. PACE is most known for providing our regional bus service throughout northeastern Illinois, but we also operate a number of other public transit services, and one of those is van pool, which we've been administering for over 30 years. The traditional van pool program has traditionally been a program where we provide a group of commuters who are traveling together to work with a van for their commute, and we cover the cost of fuel, maintenance, insurance, tolls, and washes, and give them those benefits to really operate in an official PACE carpool or van pool. And then each participant pays a monthly fare, just like a monthly bus rider would pay for a monthly bus pass. So that's our traditional van pool program. And we continue to have success with that program today. But what we found is after the pandemic, we really started to see some shifts in how people were using the system and how people were traveling. And in this case, the frequency at which they were traveling. So many of our van pool users weren't necessarily looking for a daily need for the traditional van pool program, but they still needed that occasional use to get from a local transit center to their place of business. So that led us to start thinking about how we can accommodate that demand. So there's a demand that we knew people wanted to get from the train stations to local places of business. and our traditional van pool program really wasn't accommodating that. So we really had to adapt the program to meet really the new needs of our commuters, and that's how Van Go was born. So Van Go is a reservation-based van pool program. It's a round-trip service. It's really designed to get our commuters from a local transit station to their job any day of the week. The van operates within a designated zone. We have geofencing in the vans so that we can define where that vehicle can operate in. And then it's really flexible, so our users can reserve that van and then use it anywhere within that zone for that day for only $5 daily fare. So we really adapted that monthly van pool model to really a daily as-needed van pool model. So users access the unlock the vehicle using a code that they get with their reservation, so it's all done remotely. There's an access key code on the window of the van. They type in the code that they get in their reservation. It allows them to access the van. Key locker is inside the vehicle, same thing. They can access the key through that same vehicle reservation number, and then they could use that van within that zone. And then, obviously, they return that vehicle to the same location at the end of the day. And then, in this case, hop back on the Metro Union Pacific West line to go home. So this was really providing a flexible service to close that first and last mile gap, make it easier for people to connect to employment centers throughout Geneva and some of the surrounding communities. We've already had great promise with this program. We started it a few years ago as a pilot program, and it's continued to grow. Geneva would be PACE's 8th Van Go location and the first in Kane County. Ultimately, our goal is to give workers in and around Geneva a convenient and flexible and affordable way to reach jobs in the area. And Van Go is one way that we can do that. It's one piece of the overall network, and we believe that there's a lot of opportunities right here in Geneva for this program to be successful. So with that, I would be happy to answer any questions about what we have proposed or the PACE Van Pool or Van Go programs.
Thank you. Questions for Mr. Andrews? Alderperson Bowring.
Thank you so much for being here. I was excited to learn about this program, so I didn't know about it, so I was clicking around a little bit just to look at it yesterday. The day's blur. Anyway, I guess I was curious. So I know that we do have some PACE bus service from the train station as well, but if it turns out there's a fair amount of interest in these two, because I believe the initial agreement is just for 2 Van Go spots, is there potential to extend that based on interest?
Absolutely. So what we like about this program is it allows us to easily scale up or scale down in some cases. And we have done that at other locations where we have had to scale up. Usually we start with about 2 vans and then we monitor it and see how it's going and see how the reservations are coming in. And if we're seeing daily use and if we see we're rejecting reservations,
Okay.
then we would come back to you and say, maybe we can look at trying to add a 3rd spot, even a 4th spot. And then if we saw really a lot of utilization, then that gives us some idea of what some of the demand in the area might be for even some additional types of services like a traditional bus route.
Sure.
So it allows us to really evaluate some of the demand in the area. But this program is really, what's great about it for PACE is it's really easy for us to administer. So we have van pool vans. We could easily put them out at some of these transit stations. We have staff to monitor. It's all done very seamlessly with the geofencing and the access code. So there's not a lot on our end that is difficult to monitor or administer, and we can scale it up really, really easily. So as long as there's spaces available, we can do that.
Well, I'm excited to hear that your system has a way of tracking if there's people interested that can't get a reservation. That seems excellent. And my husband works for Fermilab, and when we first moved here, there was no bus service between the train station and the lab. And yet, actually, there would have been an option for him, but I don't think very many people knew about the van program. Anyway, so yeah, so this is very exciting, and I really appreciate you being here to talk about it with us.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Alderperson Paschke.
I may have missed it in here. What's the anticipated zone, the geofenced zone?
Right, so we have not necessarily finalized the zone yet, so typically that's our next step in the process, but obviously we've established certain areas of interest, otherwise we wouldn't be here proposing it, right? So some of the areas we've kind of identified that we anticipate would be in the zone would be sort of the Randall Road corridor, the hospital. We have businesses like along Glengarry Drive and Averill Road, along Fabian and Kirk Road, some of those business parks that aren't really accessible by some of the pace fixed routes that are in the area. We also operate 2 on-demands. Some of those businesses are covered within the on-demand zones, but many of them are not. So those are some of our initial kind of areas. And before finalizing the zone, one of our next steps would be to connect with the city staff in the community development area to ensure there's no areas that we're missing. So if there's any major employers that, we have not identified for this zone, we want to know that. So that'll be our next step, but those are sort of our target areas as of now.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Alderperson Reinecke.
In your experience with other communities who have this, when someone signs out the van, about how many people will go with them? How many people are occupants?
Sure. So it does vary. Typically, like in a traditional pace van pool, you'd have like 4 or 5 or even more users in a van. In the Van Go, you do see fewer, so it's not like a full van, but you will see anywhere from 2 to 4 people getting together and using that van. Usually, people who work at the same location and have similar schedules. But it is typically a little less than a traditional van pool. So usually it's like in the 2 to 3 range. You're welcome.
7 days a week, right, Mr. Andrews?
Yeah, it's available, it's
Yeah.
flexible. So it also accommodates some of those non-traditional work schedules and industrial parks that, may need it on weekends and evenings.
Sure. Anyone else from the dais? We appreciate you being here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Moving on to item 4, amendments to the agenda. Are there any amendments this evening? Item 5 is the omnibus agenda. All items marked with an asterisk are to be considered by this council as routine, and all those items so marked can be considered and voted upon with one motion. Is there a motion? Motion by Kosarog, seconded by Palmquist. City Clerk, please take the roll.
Kosarog,
Aye.
Maliki,
Aye.
Marks,
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
Palmquist,
Aye.
Paschke,
Aye.
Reinecke,
Aye.
Bowering,
Aye.
Kilburg.
Aye.
9 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 1 alderperson absent. The omnibus agenda has been approved. We jump to item number 8, municipal bills for payment. We kindly ask our city clerk to read the bills in their aggregate for our consideration.
Municipal bills for payment total $2,014,165.97.
Mayor, I move that we approve and pay the bills as read, the individual items for which can be found in tonight's city council packet, which is on the city's website.
Alderperson Bauer makes the motion to pay the bills as presented. Those bills are available on the city's website and the city council members' packets. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Maliki. Any questions? None? Excellent. City Clerk, please take the roll.
Bowering,
Aye.
Kilburg. Aye. Kosarog,
Aye.
Maliki,
Aye.
Marks,
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
Palmquist,
Aye.
Paschke,
Aye.
Reinecke.
Aye.
The bills have been approved with 9 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 1 alderperson absent. We jump to item 10, presentation of ordinances, resolutions, and other items. 10A is to consider resolution number 2026-09, authorizing execution of a license agreement with 309 West State LLC for outdoor and wind enclosure installation at 309 West State Street. Bowery makes the motion, Paschke makes the second. Mr. McCready,
The license agreement before you will allow for the installation of a temporary outdoor wind enclosure at the entrance to the property located at 309 West State Street, otherwise known as Nobel House. The enclosure will mitigate cold air from entering the building during colder months. The agreement will permit the business to install the temporary enclosure through March 2026, and I believe again from November 2026 through March 2027. And then joining us this evening is Director DeGroot, should you have any questions on this.
questions for Director DeGroot from the dais? Alderperson Mayor?
Is there a reason to limit it to 2027? I mean, can it be a permissible use?
we consulted with legal counsel, and it was a 2-year maximum that we can enter into the agreement for.
Okay.
That was
Then we
recommended.
just- Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? On item 10A, the city clerk will take the roll.
Bowering?
Aye.
Hilberg?
Aye.
Kassarog?
Aye.
Maliki?
Aye.
Marks?
Aye.
Mayor?
Aye.
Palmquist?
Aye.
Paschke?
Aye.
Reinecke?
Aye.
With a vote of 9 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and 1 alderperson absent, Resolution 2026-09 has been approved. Item 10B, consider Resolution 2026-10, approving a certificate of completion for Roosevelt Holdings LLC. Paschke makes the motion. That was Palmquist who made the second. Mr. McCready, the floor is yours.
And if I will, just given the nature of the next three, I'm going to give you one introduction for all of them. The next three items concern certificates of completion for projects including the Roosevelt, Geneva Industrial Park, and Geneva Crossing. As indicated in the response to the question earlier today, a partial status allows for the reduction of the bond for the project with a final certificate of acceptance to be issued once all criteria have been satisfied. And then again, if we have any questions, we do have City Engineer Brian Davids here in the audience tonight to speak to any questions.
Are there any questions for the city engineer, Mr. Davids? Alderperson Kassarog.
I just had one kind of along the lines of, same question for all three.
Sure.
I guess I feel like maybe I just don't remember, but doing a partial certificate of completion kind of threw me off, but then, even then, it was a partial completion certificate. Like, they hadn't even finished, I think, the concrete in one of them, right?
Okay.
Something like that.
So a certificate of completion is, I believe in the past, we may have referred to those as letter of credit reductions or surety bond reductions or something similar. A certificate of completion really just indicates that they've completed a portion of the work, and we are certifying that that portion of work is completed, not that the entire project is complete. This is all based off of the engineer's estimate of probable construction cost, and so they have these, big spreadsheets that say this costs this much, this costs this much, and then they send them to me marked up and say, well, we've completed this, this, and this, and then I verify that and say, okay, yeah, we can reduce your letter of credit by that amount because you have completed that work. It is kind of weird looking to say you have a certificate of completion that's partial for, X topic or Y topic. It's just kind of a quirk of the language.
Okay.
So, does that clarify that?
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
Sure, thank you.
Anyone else from the dais, from Mr. Davids? If not, on Resolution 2026-10, the city clerk will take the roll.
Paschke?
Aye.
Reinecke?
Aye.
Bowering?
Aye.
Kilberg?
Aye.
Kassarog?
Aye.
Maliki?
Aye.
Marks?
Aye.
Mayor?
Aye.
Palmquist?
Aye. Resolution 2026-10 has been approved. 9 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 1 councilperson absent. Item 10C is to consider Resolution 2026-11, approving a certificate of completion for Geneva Business Park. Motion by Paschke, seconded by Palmquist. Same statements apply that Mr. McCready read just a moment ago. Are there any questions for Mr. Davids? City Clerk, please take the roll.
Paschke?
Aye.
Reinecke?
Aye.
Bowering?
Aye.
Kilberg?
Aye.
Kassarog?
Aye.
Maliki?
Aye.
Marks?
Aye.
Mayor?
Aye.
Palmquist?
Aye. Resolution 2026-11 has been approved with 9 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 1 councilperson absent. Our final item is 10D, consider Resolution 2026-12, approving a certificate of completion for, a certificate of completion number 2 for Geneva Crossing. Bowering gets the motion, Paschke gets the second. McCready's language still lingers in the air like Lysol. Any questions from Mr. Davids? I could have said something different, but I thought, what the? Quick, take the roll.
Here we go. Bowering?
Aye.
Kilberg?
Aye.
Kassarog?
Aye.
Maliki?
Aye.
Marks?
Aye.
Mayor?
Aye.
Palmquist?
Aye.
Paschke?
Aye.
Reineke.
Aye.
With a vote of 9 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and 1 councilperson absent, Resolution 2026-12 has been approved. We're at public comment, folks. Item 11 on the agenda. This is a chance for anyone joining us this evening to speak to the council, share their comments, share their thoughts, share their feelings. It's our chance to listen. We will not engage in debate, discussion, or any decision-making. We ask that if you do speak, keep your comments as brief as possible, recognizing there might be some other people who wish to speak as well. With that, the floor is open. Yes, sir.
Hello, everyone. Just wanted to bring you up to speed on a few items. We had a very successful restaurant week, the 17th through the 25th. In spite of the cold, we still were managed to bring some good traffic to the 30 participating restaurants here in town. Of those 30, 15 of them had some sort of a program that was going to benefit the Northern Illinois Food Bank. As of yet, I don't know the final dollar amounts that was raised for the food bank, but hopefully at the next meeting I can, we'll have that final dollar amount and can fill you in on what it is. Few items coming up. On Thursday, the 5th, we have the Geneva Business Professionals Open House. This is a new group that has been formed for, as the name implies, our professional community. This open house will be at 25 North Co-working. It's from 4:30 to 6. If you'd like to attend, please contact the chamber, see our website to register for that. On Friday morning, the 6th, we have the Benefits Boot Camp. This will be at Playhouse 38 up there on Stevens Street. This is from 9 until 10. It allows people to come in and find out just what all the benefits are that are available, the services available from the chamber. I don't know if any of you know or not, but if you need something notarized, we can notarize it for you. So it's all those little things that, good to know. On the following week, on the 10th, Tuesday, we have the Chamber Breakfast Club at Egg Harbor. Just want to take and also give you a few upcoming items. We have the Chamber's Coffee Crawl, which will be on April 18th. Registration for businesses to participate in this will be open on Friday, the 6th. Returning after a few years hiatus is the Juliet's Weekend. This is something that the Merchants Group is putting on. It will be April 10th through 12th. A new program that is done in conjunction between the merchants and the chamber is Art Explosion. This will be May 2nd. We are currently lining up artists and businesses where artists will come in and produce something at a business, allow then guests to go around and experience hopefully a wonderful event. And then just a little teaser here. We are currently working on, this is the Chamber, the Geneva Dining Alliance, and the Merchants Group on a summer passport program. So stay tuned for more information on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir. Commander, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
So I am Mike Ferrari. I'm the commander of American Legion Post 75 here in Geneva. American Legion Post 75 serves local veterans and has been in continuous operation in Geneva for 107 years. Our mission is to serve the community, state, and nation, and in doing so, also serve veterans. Our post has been a solid and foundational part of Geneva's history, so much so that the Geneva History Museum is presenting the history of the American Legion Post 75 on February 10th at 2 o'clock. So we provide a place for veterans in the community to get together. Many local nonprofits use our post building for their meetings, fundraisers, and events. We do many things: school awards, scholarships, Boys and Girls States Program, Memorial Day Rifle Salutes, parades and service, Veterans Day Rifle Salute, among a few. We're also longtime members of the Geneva Chamber of Commerce. So our expenses are primarily post operations, utilities, donations and scholarships, and some building renovations, and helping veterans in need. Our revenue stream primarily comes from Swedish Days. So it's the keystone for our survival. So we rent our hall, but Swedish Days pays for our insurance, our property tax, our utilities, all of our other bills. All other programs that we have are usually funded through donations or specific events for those programs. So we have records that go back many decades detailing our participation in Swedish Days and hosting our beer tent. The beer tent's a Geneva tradition and a place where townspeople come every year, get together, and reinforce that connection that holds this community together. One of the connections. I just recently heard about our participation with the Aurora Area Convention and Visitors Bureau and saw the presentation at the last City Council meeting. It does seem like it has its benefits, and I think it's definitely needed. However, it is my belief and the shared opinion of my fellow Legionnaires that we also require a way to effectively advertise our city's events and festivals. Please consider implementing such a program. Beyond providing enjoyment, these festivals generate positive visibility and awareness for our city, which in turn boosts local businesses and supports its community-oriented nonprofits. Post-75 revenue from Swedish Days over the last 5 years has declined 7% on average, with last year down 15%. This lines right up with what we see with participation and attendance. So without the direct support of the City of Geneva, I fear that festivals will dwindle in size and eventually disappear. Swedish Days will be a memory, not a time and a place where we all come together. If we cannot fundraise, we being Post-75, if we cannot fundraise from Swedish Days, we'll struggle to come up with additional revenue streams, and it puts Post-75 in a tight spot. For God and country, thank you.
Thank you, Commander. Anyone else? New business, the dais is open. Anyone from the dais who has new business, anything they'd like to share with the community, now's your chance. Alderperson Paschke.
Alderperson Mayor and I will be hosting a Ward 4 community meeting on February 14th at 10 a.m. at the Geneva Police Department. So any community members from Ward 4 are welcome to attend.
Thank you. Alderperson Palmquist.
Yes, in the effort to educate our residents, I stopped by the Reserve on Fargo Boulevard, Independent Living Center, and the manager there was quite interested in the materials, and I offered to have Alderpersons Reineke and myself speak to them, and they're considering using their van and transporting to one of the 3 open houses. So just some other ideas, and often we're engaging with people who are already engaged, and so I was trying to look a little deeper to see what constituencies may be overlooked or not, have transportation challenges or just not part of the same awareness circle that we are in a lot of our constituents. So a little inspiration to anybody else on the up here to look other places than the obvious.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn the city council meeting. Kosrog makes the motion. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. We'll take just a moment, and we'll host the committee of the whole meeting. Thank you.
All right. I'd like to call the February 2nd, 2026 Committee of the Whole meeting to order. Same attendance?
All present.
All present, but Alderperson Furnish. Item 2 is to approve the Committee of the Whole meeting minutes from January 5th, 2026. Do I have a motion? I had a motion from Reinecke and a second from from Kilberg. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Item number 3A is to consider a draft resolution adopting a complete streets policy. Bowering and Paschke. That was fast. And are you going to lead off?
Yes,
Assistant
absolutely.
Director or Administrator McCready?
So this item is in follow-up to a discussion at the City Council's joint meeting with the Strategic Plan Advisory Committee and its subcommittees this past October. Approval of the Complete Streets policy will formalize the city's commitment to a policy it is already practicing in its project planning. As written, the policy will provide guidance that helps to create a safer and more accessible community for everyone, regardless of ability, age, or mode of transportation. Adoption of this policy reflects the city's commitment to consider all users of the city's streets and sidewalks and will position the city to be more competitive in seeking transportation project funds, support efforts to become a bike-friendly community, and achieve the goals stated in the strategic plan. And then I believe joining us tonight, we have City Engineer Brian Davids, City Planner Matt Busing, and then we have members of the city's Bike and Pedestrian Safety Committee, Carl Schadell and Jen Siegel with us as well. So if there's any questions, we'll look to Brian to lead things off. Our committee members can address as well.
So if I may, I just want to reiterate a couple points from the executive summary that you guys have in front of you. This policy really formalizes the city's commitment to a philosophy and practice that we already apply. This helps to create safer and more accessible streets throughout our community. It helps guide planning, and it ensures the needs and the safety of all users of all modes of transportation, ages, and abilities. So this is really just making sure that our streets are safe for everybody that uses them. We had quite the presentation in October, so I didn't feel the need to go into the whole thing again. Are there any questions I can answer at this time? Yeah.
I don't really have a question, but reading through it, it looks great. I know it's stuff that you guys are already prioritizing, but I appreciate seeing it all laid out that way and appreciate that there are some accountability measures in there too, with the acknowledgement that there are going to be exceptions.
Yes.
But I think it's practical and also moves us forward. Thank you.
Thank you. If I may make another comment, I do want to point out that our Bike and Ped Committee, they have reviewed this and they've bought on to this as well. So the specific language that we came up with has already been given support by a group of residents.
Any other comments?
I just wanted to, before you take a vote, I just again wanted to recognize, again, we have Carl Schadell, Jen Siegel, and then Jim Kafer as well from SPAC, who have all spent a lot of time talking about this topic at different meetings, coordinating with staff, providing input, really helping us review and get a solid policy put together. So thank you.
Alderperson Mayor, please.
Yeah, I just want to thank you all for committing your personal time to do this and to move this forward. I know that the people of Geneva often talk to me about how important biking and safety is to them, and this is core to how we can move forward into what I hope is more bike-friendly city moving forward with all the great new e-vehicles and everything. Thank you.
Alderperson Reinecke, please.
I've got a question. So this has been implemented at least in part so far, because we've seen parts of it through the city. And I'm wondering, as it's moving forward, it's a worthwhile initiative. Have there been any, what do we say, challenges, costs, concerns that you've encountered thus far as it's been rolled out?
No. So kind of the way that we've crafted this is that we are putting ourselves in a position to make sure that when we're committing ourselves to consider other users of roadways and not just cars.
Mm-hmm.
We've put in some exceptions. We've given ourselves some ability to have wiggle room and not say this road has to have a bike lane when it's not appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
So no, when we're getting into those situations, we just say, well, this isn't appropriate for this area at this time, and move along. We want to make sure that this area is safe for everybody to use, but This has to be rolled out incrementally, and we can't just go and transform the whole city in 1 year. That's not practical or feasible.
What's the feedback you're hearing in the neighborhoods where it's been implemented so far?
Mostly an education piece, really. We get some comments about the share the road arrows or sharrows, and they, tell us, oh, you're putting them in the road. Oops, your contractor's out here messing it up, and that's not the case. They're supposed to be in the roadway. So we just have a conversation with the resident at that point and say, well, this is a federal guideline, and this is done this way. This, this is intended to be this way. And we usually don't hear from those neighborhoods again after the initial rollout of that area. So that's been the experience so far.
Okay.
Any other comments? Before we vote, I just want to thank the committee again, too. This is great. I've been aware of Complete Streets for some time, and that's the committee and staff to be commended for getting it to the point where we can vote on the resolution. As Alderperson Mayer said, that's probably the most common topic when I speak with residents is just concern and keep expanding connectivity, safe bike routes. So to see this as a policy now is excellent. The report, the cover memo also referenced, and I don't want this lost, this will help. This is another benefit that we can state when we go for grants. So anything that can help buttress and strengthen our grant applications is great. Anytime we can use non-taxpayer revenue to help fund infrastructure, we should be doing it. So again, another check mark in that grant application could really help secure that outside revenue. So
Yep.
Wanted to underscore that.
Thank you.
And with that, I think we're ready to vote.
Bowering,
Aye.
Kilberg,
Aye.
Kasserag,
Aye.
Maliki,
Aye.
Marks,
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
Palmquist,
Aye.
Paschke,
Aye.
Reinecke.
Aye.
9-0, it passes. On to item 3B, which is to consider the draft resolution authorizing the execution of a license agreement with Metro FiberNet LLC of Evansville, Indiana. Mayor and Paschke.
If we're good. This item is regards to the license agreement for installation of fiber optic cable within a public utility easement, PUE, for property at 1771 West State Street. And then again, joining us this evening as we have Director Babica, if you have any questions about this item.
Alderperson Kasserag, please.
I guess I'm sorry if it's in here, but maybe for my benefit and the public's, is this going to, like, the existing conduit that's underground already, or new, we're gonna dig new trenches and new borings and things like that? I'm not sure I'm using the right terminology, but.
Director Babica can give a brief answer to your question.
I guess my bottom line question, can we expect construction in our yards?
This will be new construction, an extension of the Metro Fiber, formerly known as MetroNet, to service this property for commercial businesses.
Oh, this is for commercial, okay.
It's for this specific property.
Got it, thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Take a vote, please.
Mayor,
Aye.
Palmquist,
Aye.
Paschke,
Aye.
Reinecke,
Aye.
Bowering,
Aye.
Kilberg,
Aye.
Kasserag,
Aye.
Maliki,
Aye.
Marks.
Aye.
Thank you.
9-0, thank you. That item passes. On to 3C, consider draft resolution authorizing a license agreement between the City of Geneva and PACE, the Suburban Bus Division of Regional Transportation Authority, relating to the Van Gogh pilot vehicle program. I had Paschke with the motion and Bowering with the second.
All right. In follow-up to our presentation earlier this evening, staff is recommending approval of a license agreement with Pace Suburban Bus for the Van Gogh program. The service has been well received by employers and employees as there is need for transportation options connecting transit stations to employment centers. This agreement, as you know, would provide 2 parking spaces in the South Street parking lot, and we have Director Timoshenko here in the audience to answer any additional questions you may have.
Any questions? That was a good presentation in the regular meeting, and I thought the questions were very good, so I don't see any additional questions, so I think we can take a vote, please.
All right. Paschke?
Aye.
Reinecke?
Aye.
Bowering?
Aye.
Kilberg?
Aye.
Tusserag?
Aye.
Maliki?
Aye.
Marks?
Aye.
Mayor?
Aye.
Palmquist.
Aye. 9-0 vote to approve, please. That passes. And now to item 3D, which is the presentation regarding FY 2027 budget and FY 2028 budget projections.
Just mention it's my pleasure here to invite Director Jennifer Maluski to the podium, and then we also have City Administrator Alex Voigt via audio to introduce the budget to you this evening. This includes the FY 27 budget and FY 28 forecast. And I believe, if I'm correct, we'll be taking general questions after the initial presentation. Similar to past years, if you have specific items, I believe there'll be opportunities to submit those so we can begin our budget process. And as soon as you're ready, I'm just going to ask City Administrator Voigt if you'd like to unmute so we can make sure we've got a solid audio connection.
Hello, can you hear me? A little louder?
Yes, we can hear you now. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And again, I'll just reiterate, there is no action being taken tonight.
I think we're ready. Whenever you
All
want
right,
to start.
excellent. Well, thank you. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. It's my pleasure to be here virtually. I apologize, I am not there in person. I'm happy to be here with our Finance Director, Jennifer Maluski, to present an overview of the fiscal year 2027 budget and fiscal year 2028 projections. So as we begin, here is a summary of what we will be covering in the presentation this evening. And again, as Administrator McCready indicated, we will plan to take questions at the end. So to begin, what is a municipal budget? The City of Geneva's municipal budget is based on the framework provided by the city's strategic plan. All of the items reflected in the budget are based off of operational planning, where individual departments work through the process of needs and wants, all of course aligned with the strategic plan. The budget is then reviewed by our elected officials and adopted. And throughout the fiscal year, we review and revise plans and budgets as necessary. Now, as we move into the schedule, to begin the fiscal year 2027 budget process, in November of 2025, the City Council gathered to identify priorities for the next fiscal year budget. At that meeting, the City Council identified strong governance 3, facilities meet community needs, and quality and infrastructure and services 3, dependable infrastructure, as the city's Tier 1 priority objectives for fiscal year 2027. These 2 priorities are currently being expressed through the proposed referendum for a new police facility, which the council voted to place on the March 17th ballot, as well as through some other proposed investments in our current facilities outlined in the budget. The council's Tier 2 priority objectives for fiscal year 2027 are purposeful growth and economic vitality, 2, a diverse and resilient economy, and inform and engage residents, effectively engage the community. Currently, we are actively engaged in the process of informing and engaging our residents about the proposed referendum. We're using combined methods of in-person opportunities by hosting tours of the current police station, attending open houses, as well as a robust and growing online engagement opportunities. For example, the calculator and the virtual tour, and we've been fortunate to receive relatively consistent attention from our local media channels as well. These are, of course, in addition to any individual efforts undertaken by the City Council, two of which were highlighted earlier this evening. Any methods that work well as part of this process will be applied to future community educations, some of which will begin in 2026 and carry over into fiscal year 2027. Moving back to the timeline, in December of 2025, the preliminary draft budget was formulated and departmental meetings occurred. We had a City Council presence at all of the departmental meetings. We are now at the point where the City Council is beginning the review process, starting with the high-level overview this evening. We are prepared for additional discussion as needed with the current timeline of moving public hearing and adoption of the budget on Tuesday, February 17th. And of course, our fiscal year 2027 will begin in May of 2026. And now for the budget overview, I am going to hand the floor to Director Maluski.
So before we get into the budget overview, I want to kind of talk through some of the structure that you'll find within the budget, and we'll use some of these words kind of throughout the presentation, but to build some context, the City of Geneva's budget is comprised of 38 funds, and each of those funds have a specific purpose. We have 29 governmental funds, and those governmental funds are typically sourced from taxes as their primary funding source there. Proprietary funds, we have enterprise and those internal service funds, and those are generally behave like a business where those user fees are used to pay for services. Then we'll go into some of those fiduciary funds. We have two for our police and fire pensions. You'll see again throughout the presentation as we move through, we kind of break things up between those funds. So we see here that the proposed 27 budget, we are proposing a budget of just under $121 million. We do see a drop from the proposed or amended 26 budget of roughly $20 million there. But you'll see that it's really in line with that fiscal year 26 projection. That projection represents what we anticipate to close fiscal year 26 at, and fiscal year close would be that 4/30 date. And then we'll see that fiscal year 28 projection. But if we were to look then again at that proposed budget for fiscal year 27, we'll see that general fund looks like we're contracting just a bit, going from 26.4 million to 25.2. Again, if you look at where those projected numbers are, they're more in line with one another. Special revenue funds, we don't get into too deep tonight, but you'll see that kind of bump up temporarily and then coming back down in fiscal year 28. And that's driven primarily from the use of our ARPA funds, or American Rescue Plan Act. So we have to spend those funds by the end of this fiscal year. So we'll see that momentary increase and then normalizing back down again. We'll see capital funds that we'll talk through some of those improvements tonight. We'll see some reductions there from that 18.1 million to the just under 15 million. Debt service, we have no activity there. And then we'll also note that we have some reductions there in those enterprise funds, and that's going to be driven primarily from some of those capital projects that we're currently working through coming to close, but we'll get into that as well in a little bit. Internal service funds, the reduction there is driven primarily from claims. So reduction in claims is always a good thing. We'll see a small increase in trust in agencies driven primarily from cost of living increases for those retirees, as well as banking fees related to the consolidated fund activities. So that is the big overview. And then when we look at by function, we'll note that personnel, we're anticipating a budgeted increase of 4.4%, and then that kind of offsets against those operating funds, which you see a decline of 2.7%. But when you look over at the graph, you'll see operations really does have that bulk of the activities at 47%. So we're reducing that a little bit, but we still see a really significant investment in overall operations. We see a big kind of drop there in that capital, but again, that's related to projects in our enterprise funds coming to a close, as well as the purchase of the UP lots. That was completed this year as well, so that had a momentary increase for fiscal year 26, and now we're kind of normalizing that back down. So as we look a little closer now into some of our major funds, we have 3 major funds that we typically outline with the budget overview. That's our general fund, electric fund, and water fund. Our general fund is our main operating account. So we use this fund to account for any activity where we aren't required to specifically, for compliance reason or reporting reasons, maintain those funds in a separate entity or fund itself. So the general fund is home to 9 departments, including legislative, administrative services, community development, economic development, public safety, so police and fire, as well as public works and finance and a few others. So when we look at the total budget for fiscal year 27 that's being proposed, that's $25.2 million roughly. When we look at our primary revenue sources, or the graph over on the right, you'll see that our primary funding sources of property taxes, sales tax, income tax, and non-home rule sales tax. We are projecting these to have some very small increases for fiscal year 27, and that's going to be offset by a bit of a downturn in some of those other revenue sources that we see in that $4.4 million coming from like building permits. We'll see kind of a decline in some of our intergovernmentals that we get through the state, being like local use tax, and I believe there was one more that's slipping my mind right now. But again, we see those revenues that are coming down being offset by the slight increase that we're projecting from those property taxes and sales taxes primarily. And then if we look over on the expenditure side, we'll see that a bulk of our investment is in public safety. Again, that's police and fire. We'll see that makes up about 71% of total general fund budget. We'll note that 20% is general government and administration, and then we round out with that 9% for public works, which includes streets, fleets, and forestry. So when we look a bit closer into the actual functions, so over here on the graph, we have a comparison of fiscal year 26 amended budget to the proposed budget. We'll note some of those increases. So we'll see that slight increase we see in personnel. We'll see stability really in the contractual and commodities. And then we see a decline there in that other category, and that's driven primarily by the reduction of interfund transfers to capital funds. And then when we look a bit closer at those categories, so again, 8% increase is what's budgeted for fiscal year 27. We may not see that, but that is the budgeted amount. We note that the increase in pension contributions, now this is combined for both police and fire, we'll see an additional $204,000 contributed to those funds. Included in part of this budget as well is the addition of 1 FTE for the police department. That is a non-sworn position for a body-worn camera coordinator, criminal analyst, to help really work through some of the FOIA requests and work with the body-worn cameras that were a mandate for the department. So we see that built into the recommended budget. And as I stated before, we're going to see a small increase in those contractual expenditures due to those ARPA grants. Those funds are going to be expended in fiscal year 27, and then that will be the end of our ARPA funding running through our financial statements. So we'll see that coming to a close. And then when we look at that other expenditures category, again, a reduction of roughly 7%, but we still are maintaining just under $800,000 transferred out of the general fund and into our capital fund to help fund those capital projects. So that's investments in buildings as well as equipment. Ooh, there we go. All right, so now we're going to move over to our proprietary funds, and starting with our electric fund, which is one of our largest funds that we have. So we have a proposed budget of $44.3 million, and as an enterprise fund, we would anticipate that its funding source comes from electric sales. So you'll see that that makes up that huge portion of 85%. We'll see a portion of reappropriation. Reappropriation is the planned use of fund balance or reserves to meet those expenditures anticipated for the following year. Others is comprised of interest income and fees that are charged by the department, for instance, for new installation and items of that nature. We'll note that the biggest piece on the expenditure side will continue to be the purchase power. Now, we do see this being reduced this year. However, we do still see that that is the largest portion of their expenditures. We'll see some slight increases in personnel, but everything else kind of levels itself out when you look at that deeper drill down into the expenses. So you'll see, again, in that capital being the largest change there. To address that again is the completion of the Southeast Master Plan construction updates. So we're spending down those bonds. We anticipate to be done with them this fiscal year, and then we're normalizing back down. So electric normalizes at between $3 to $4 million in capital outlay. So we'll go back into that range and see that for the next few years. All right, and when we look at debt service and depreciation, because we've had some very large capital projects coming in and now we're rounding out their completion, we're gonna start to see depreciation go up, because what we do is we take all those expenditures and we amortize them out over the life of that infrastructure. So we're gonna note that depreciation will continue to increase, but we're also gonna see that those debt service payments for the electric fund are now coming online as well. So we're gonna see that jump this year, but then it's going to continue to flow through those financial statements until that's paid off. We'll note that there is that decrease in electric purchases, and this was an explanation provided by Aaron, and I will not fathom to explain very much of it, but we do have Director Babica here so that he can answer any really in-depth questions regarding that. But again, we see the capital expenditures of that $11.4 million going down, again, related to that SEMP project. Then moving over to our final water fund is our final major fund. As we look at their revenues and expenditures, we see $26.5 million total budget requested. We'll see, again, primarily water sales and sewer sales make up the bulk of their revenue sources, but we also note that there is an other funding. And that other funding is, we were fortunate enough to be awarded an IEPA low-interest loan. And if you come right over to the expenditure side of this graph, you'll note that capital number of the 13 million, they're really kind of one in one with one another. So you'll see that what we have in that loan is being reinvested as a capital expenditure within the infrastructure. So that we'll see going through the financial statements, as we've already seen some of those agreements come before the council to be approved. And then we'll note that 13% personnel charges and debt service being another large portion. But again, I think when we get into that in a little bit, you'll see that that's really driven primarily from the depreciation costs for water. So here we have the amended budget and comparison to fiscal year 27 proposed. Again, you'll see that decline in capital, and that is just really related to the timing of those IEPA bonds or loan that we're working through. So we'll see a bulk of that being spent in fiscal year 27, although we had anticipated to be kind of into that right now. So, and then like I said earlier, you'll see that debt service and depreciation number go up a tad bit, and that's really related more so to the depreciation aspect rather than the debt service side of things. Again, capital investment going down for fiscal year 27. We do have that big investment in the sanitary side of things, but I also wanted to remind the council that we do have investments on the water infrastructure as well. We have about $800,000 of water main, new water meters, lead line replacements, and a few other things that we can find in the back of the budget book in that CIP section. And then one thing new for fiscal year 27's budget as well is the reclassification of an existing position. So we are looking to reclassify that water treatment operator into a lead water treatment operator. And we only have about 44 more slides to go, so we're almost there. We're going to move on to the capital side. So things that we can look forward to with capital projects, and these are the things that the residents really can see their dollars at work with. So we'll have about, only represents about 7 of the $14 million running through the capital funds, but kind of highlight here is our general capital projects. Going back to that reinvestment in city facilities, we're gonna see a number of improvements across several of facilities, including Public Works getting a new HVAC system as a 2-phase process. So we're starting phase 1 of that. So that'll be so they can actually open in the winter. We'll see the comprehensive plan coming from the Community Development Department. We'll see continued work on our facilities master plan. But the big thing I think that would excite most is the downtown pavilion that we were able to secure a grant from. So that'll be a great addition to the community. On the infrastructure side, yeah. Oh. Wow, more to come. Infrastructure capital, we'll see. I don't know if anyone's noticed, there's some work on the east side of State Street. So we'll see that continue and into fiscal year 27, and that really is going to eat a lot of our capital dollars for fiscal year 27. And I know you'll see the Cots Road, and you might say, well, wait, that's done? Well, we still have one more bill left for the state to pay. So as soon as they send us that last invoice, we can close that project out, and then we can be done with that. And then we're going to see a lot of our annual items, like the pavement markings, the sidewalks, trees, plantings, and things of that nature. So those are still in the budget. We also see in capital equipment, vehicles being the bulk of the purchases for 27, and that's related to the community development and police department, as well as some upfitting for public works vehicles. We're going to see our standard computer equipment replacement, and some additional machinery and equipment is really related to some upgrades that we have to do for our police department with their records management system. So with that, I am handing the floor back to Administrator Voigt.
Thank you. What the slide you have before you right now is, it illustrates a very general timeline if the referendum should be successful in March. One of the questions we've received is what timing could look like. So Director Maluski put this together. There is a note that the timeline may shift if the council elects to issue debt in tranches. So again, this is a preliminary look at what something that could be coming down the pipeline. All right, so the next step in the process, so we've had our high-level overview. The question for the council is if they wish to have a special committee of the whole to discuss the budget further. If that's something that everyone would like to do, we have tentatively blocked out Monday, February 9th for that meeting. If that's something that the council is interested in, I will certainly follow up with the director in the morning on that one. And then the final step in the process is the city council meeting, which also includes a public hearing on the fiscal year 2027 budget and then the recommended adoption of said budget. And that is on Tuesday, February 17th. Monday, the 16th is a holiday, so we will be meeting on the 17th. I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to the Finance Department, led by Director Maluski and supported by Heather Collins, our Accounting Supervisor, and Michael DeGrace, Administrative Analyst, as well as Ben McCready, our Assistant City Administrator, and all of the department heads for their patience and participation in this process. We certainly look forward to continuing to discuss the budget, but truly appreciate everyone's time and effort in this process.
Okay, and I think with that, we can open the floor for those general questions, discussion.
Anybody have any questions of Director Maslowski? I know there's much more to come, and that's where we'll roll up our sleeves at that point. So we have Alderperson Kosrog, please.
Did you say something? No. Okay. No, I was just going to say, are we expecting more presentation, deeper dive on the 17th or whatever date that is? Or is that just we've heard and we study and then we come back with questions?
Yep, I think it's more the, if you have questions, we can address them, but this was the overall presentation, and we can take those questions and post them on the website like we've done historically. But yeah, that we would look to adopt and approve the budget on the 17th, bearing that.
So to clarify, there's going to be another committee of the whole discussion.
If we would like to have a committee of the whole on the 9th to have that additional discussion.
Okay.
Yes?
We need to see the details.
I meant the, yeah, today's the second. Go ahead and ask questions, then we can decide that at the end. If we're
I was
vote
just
on
going to
that.
say, I'm entirely sure this is my error, but according to Alderperson Paschke, some of the budget, or maybe all of it, was available for us to review this weekend, but I missed it. So I thought this was going to be an introduction, and then next week we would discuss it in more detail. So I apologize to my colleagues. I, for one, would benefit from meeting next week because I'm not prepared to ask more questions. This was a wonderful overview. I really appreciated it. But yeah, I would want to have some time to dive in and don't want to surprise you with a lot of questions when we actually want to adopt it. So that's
And
my
I had the
take.
same interpretation, so I would echo that myself. Anybody else have any comments? Oh, please.
The way that we've gotten it in the past, can we get the budget in that format as well?
Sure.
Because then I can go back and look at the documents I have. So I like the new format, though. It's much more user-friendly, but I'd like the previous version if possible.
Sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And I definitely think we should meet next week, so.
So do we need to vote on?
Just that there's consensus for it.
I sense consensus that we'll appreciate Committee of the Whole special meeting on the evening of the 7th.
The 9th.
The 9th, rather. I'm getting my dates all messed up.
I think Dean wants to say something.
Would it be possible to get a hard copy?
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
Working with all these numbers sometimes, I know we could print it, but it'd be nice if we,
Yeah.
I
no
don't need
problem.
to use a half a ream of paper to do it, so.
Oh, it's 400 pages, so yeah.
Thank you.
That's a full.
Yes. Very good.
Okay, perfect. All right. You don't need a printed copy? Okay, noted. So I'm gonna just close this down so you can continue
If I may,
on.
just for council's benefit and for next week, just to be clear about direction for staff and so we're prepared. Typically and historically how we've done this is if there are specific questions as you look through the budget, I'm sure Administrator Voigt will be back in here soon, compiling those questions with Director Maluski and then working with staff to prepare materials then for a special COW meeting. But I think, just to be clear, I think this was our presentation tonight, so we'll need those specific questions from you to really drive that next meeting. So. And I'm sure we'll be in touch as far as the deadline and when to get those, submitted, so we have time to prepare.
Alderperson, did you have a question?
That was just going to be my question. Is there a deadline to keep in mind for those questions so there's enough time to respond? Like
Sooner is
sooner
better.
than later.
Yes,
Okay.
but
Sooner the
by
better.
all
Got it.
means, I recognize it is a lot of material to absorb electronically and otherwise, and I know we'll be working to get printed copies and get material out, so, yes.
Very good. And that concludes item 3D, and we'll continue with our special meeting then on February 9th. Item number 4, public comment. Any comment from the public?
If I may.
Oh, please.
Make an address unless there's anyone else in the audience who'd like to speak. We've touched on this evening, but I did just want to provide City Council a few updates about some of the activity and things that are going on. As of today, we've had over 450 views on the virtual tour that we've put out there. That's the virtual tour for residents and community stakeholders to, from the comfort of their home, take a look at the Geneva Police Department as it currently exists. We've had about 100 different individuals participate in the tours led by members of the police command staff, and those are still available in February and into the month of March. So again, if you have residents, someone asking you about it, feel free to send them, direct them to the city's landing page for this project, and they're able to sign up for that right away. City Council, I believe you've all referenced it this evening, the invitation for the open houses that are led by SPAC, and I'll invite Chairperson Mannon up here momentarily to speak to that as well. I would just remind people, please share the city's posts if you're able to. We're trying to get the word out there about all the different sources of information that's available. For those of you who had tuned in, the City of Geneva was featured on NBC5 earlier this week. Deputy Chief Dean and again, Chairperson Mannon were featured on that news story about what's going on, about the upcoming referendum in the police station. The Daily Herald and the Chronicle have run stories. The city's blog post is going out there. We have over 611 individuals subscribed to get these updates from the website instantaneously. And this afternoon, the mayor, Chief Passarelli, Deputy Chief Dean, myself, and members of the Strategic Plan Advisory Committee were invited and were able to spend some time with the Geneva Lions Club and talk about some of this. And so if I can ask Director Mannon, Chairperson Mannon to come up, I'm going to be passing out some postcards, and we're going to try to get the word out there. So this is for you on behalf of SPAC. If you would tell us a little bit about this.
Yes, thank you, Ben. Yeah, I just wanted to take the opportunity to let you know a little bit more detail about the open houses. I know you've all heard about them in general, but wanted to give you some more detail about what those will look like, because we are hoping that you'll help get folks there, or at least make sure that they know about it. Our primary goal or objective with these is for the public to have a place to come ask questions in person. So they have the opportunity to read a lot of things and may still want clarification or just to talk to someone in person. So that's the intent of these. And so as you can see on the postcard, we're going to hold a series of 3 of them. The first will be this coming Wednesday at 6:30. All of them will be at the Geneva Public Library. Then we'll have a second one on the 18th of February. That one's going to be during the day, so we're hopeful that that might work better for some folks that can't make the evening ones. So that will be from 10 till noon, again at the library. And then again on the 25th from 6:30 till 8:30. The way these will be structured is there will be a very brief presentation at the beginning. to provide some information, but then the bulk of the time is going to be used in what we're calling breakout sessions. So we're going to have a variety of subject matter experts on hand, from city staff, finance, the police department, and then the architect, the project manager. I believe we've even got bond folks there to drill down into details. So what will happen in those breakouts is anyone attending will be able to visit a station. They'll get a little bit of information, but then they're free to ask whatever questions they have, and the idea is that they have someone right there that is very knowledgeable in that very subject, so they can really drill down and ask some of those deeper questions that may be more difficult in a different setting. And then they'll rotate to the different, so we'll have one that's on finance and costs, and one that is, run by the police stations, so they'll be able to look at the proposed stations, see some more limitations of the current station, and ask some of those questions related to that. And then the last one will be on the, I'm drawing a blank on what the last one is. We've got police department, the proposed building. That will be the architects and the project manager. So folks can come and ask questions about what the proposed building might look like, why it might need to look that way, and just ask different questions. And then at the end, we're leaving time as well for just more questions. People can go back and visit other stations. We'll have a table out with some information. The city administrator will be there, as well as Ben McCready, assistant administrator. So just lots of folks on hand that know a lot of the details, so people can ask those questions. So hopefully you can help spread the word, maybe at that ward meeting. If you need, we've passed out those postcards, so you can give those to people. They can register, it helps us to plan, but absolutely not necessary. It's also not necessary that they're there for the duration. So if somebody can pop in for a portion of it, that's fine too. They can walk in, we're just hopeful that people can come.
And Chairperson Manning, just one more point of clarification for anyone interested or helping spread the word. These will not be live broadcast. Again, there's going to be smaller groups. It's more conversational, opportunities to ask questions, so it's not going to lend itself to something we can broadcast or record. That's why we're providing 3 of them, and just encourage individuals, even if you can't stay the whole time, it's a great thing to drop into. Bring a friend, bring your neighbor.
Yeah. And I think for the one on this week, we have 18 people officially registered. Most have indicated they're bringing someone else too. But we have room for, we're holding at the largest room that we can get there. So we have room for plenty more. All right. Thank you.
Anyone else care to speak? New business? Any alderperson have anything else to say? Alderperson Paschke.
In all this talk about the meetings, I was reminded that if anybody wants to make February 9th a really long meeting day, we had a presenter here about community solar early in January, and they have a community presentation about community solar at the library from 5 to 7 on February 9th. So just want to bring that back up to everyone's memories.
Very good. I don't see any other comments. So with that, I'll entertain an adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Alderperson Kasserag made the motion. Meeting adjourned at 8:37.